Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today's guests are Chris Bowman and Danny Lundquist, and they're co-owners over at the Chicken Coop Company. Chris, Danny, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, guys. So we got a lot to talk about here today. So the chicken coops for backyards in urban settings. Man, I did not know this trend or this phenomenon was taking place until meeting you guys and getting to know a little bit more about the business. I'm thrilled to bring this to my audience. I think it's an amazing story. But just to get us kicked off and to get us started, we'll start this episode as we start them all with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So Chris, Danny, at Mission Matters, our aim, our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts to get their message out there. That's our mission. What mission matters to you?
I'll tackle this one. So Adam, our mission is to give every family, regardless of where they live, access to safe, secure, and good-looking coops for their flocks. But really, Adam, at the heart of it, our mission, I'd say, is to inspire people to take chances.
Yeah.
So whether it be to help people take their first step towards sustainability and owning their own food supply, which is pretty cool, with chickens, or for Chris and I both coming from the corporate hustle, our sphere of influence is littered with people who want to chase an entrepreneurial dream, but think it's either out of reach or too risky. So with this business, if our success can simply encourage people and enable them to take chances, whether it be to get chickens in their backyard or even to take a chance on their next business opportunity, and chase that dream. I mean, really, that's a win for us and what keeps us going.
Amazing. Love bringing mission-based entrepreneurs on the show to share why they do what they do, how they're doing it, really what we can all learn from that so we grow together. So, of course, I want to get into the company. We're going to do that and especially get into the product. But before we do, I like what you mentioned about just that being an entrepreneur or that other hustle or just the entrepreneurial journey. Like, where'd that start for you two? Like with being an entrepreneur, even that concept, like everybody's got their own journey. Where'd it start for you?
Well, Chris, let me actually, because it starts with you, Chris, let me start and then we can go and hear your story.
Sounds
but really, Chris and I have been friends for a long time,
Yeah.
and both in the corporate grind. Meanwhile, he had his side hustles that were always super inspiring to me. It's
Yeah.
like, man, how can I get into that business? And he's had a number of businesses that he's started and sold and gone through. And so for me, it was seeing his lifestyle and seeing how he does things and dreaming and talking about ways we can do life. And that really got me fired up. So when I was seeing the end of my corporate world, or like my dreams were getting so large, I'm like, all right, now's the time to leave. Chris, let's go. Like, how can we get something done? So really, that's where it started for me. My parents, they had their own business as well. So I come from that world. But Chris has been a major influence in my life.
When you were a kid, did you have anything? Was there a small hustle, like the kid hustle? I'm curious.
Oh, I mean, working in my parents' factory when I was, 4. Child laborer, right? But
me too. I was working in the shop. I don't know if I was supposed to be, but Chris, what about you, man? How'd you before we get into how you sucked Danny into this endeavor, like talk about some of those previous experiences.
Well, I think it all starts with child labor, to be honest. So my dad was a contractor.
Noticing a theme here.
What's going on? So my dad was a contractor, and so he would suck me into whatever project he thought I needed to do to learn how to work. So we lived on a huge hill, and so we had a lot of retaining walls that were that concrete block. And if you think about concrete block, you can set it up, mortar it in, and it's hollow on the inside. Right? Well, somebody had to fill that block. So guess who?
Yeah.
Cement mixer.
Wow. How old were you roughly?
Oh boy. 13, 14.
Yeah, that's a good age. That's a good age.
Still got the scar of when I stuck my hand in the cement mixer accidentally, those grinding wheels on the side, when I tried to catch it from falling off a wall one time, and that did not go well.
Wow.
But I learned how to work. I learned how to pound nails, and I learned that wasn't what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I got started, right out of college. I went to work for Wells Fargo, and I kind of took the entrepreneurial spirit into corporate America. So it was a bit of a black sheep. But while I was there, I ended up starting a company called Simply Nutrients, because every good company starts with a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the problem in chicken land in a second. But I started Simply Nutrients because I ran into a family member that had anorexia, and they needed some nutritional supplements to get healthy again. So
Yeah.
we said, "Hey, who else is needing this?" This is back in 2009,
Mm-hmm.
and this was on the professional supplement side of the world, not just your, Nature's Made at Costco or what have you.
Yeah.
So we got into that business, and I started it while I was in corporate America, and that was kind of my first big, and it wasn't big at the time,
Mm-hmm.
side hustle, entrepreneurial business. Let's start something. So I've done that in real estate, did that with Simply Nutrients, and then I finally got out of corporate America because I got a bad boss. And a few years after that, Danny had said, "Hey, I'd love to start a business. What do you got?" And so a lot of things come across my desk, and this one just came across my desk, and I thought nothing of it, nothing. But I sent him the email and said, "Hey, you want to get into the poultry game? Here you go."
Yeah.
And I shot it over, and he said, "Well, this looks kind of interesting." And here we are with you.
What stuck out about that? And either you can take this. Like, what stuck out about that opportunity? Like, a lot of different things you could have done. A lot of different. Like, what was attractive about the poultry game?
I can take that one, Chris,
Go for it.
if you don't mind. Yeah. So I had gotten chickens about a year before, me and my wife, and man, they become like pets. My wife's
Really?
up there every morning, like, "Hey, girls!" Like she's talking to her hens all the time. The kids are out there playing with them, and so I realized, like, man, these things are part of your family. And at that time, also egg prices were through the roof.
Yeah.
Obviously, our economy and our country and everything is going through stuff, and I feel like, when things get tough, people buckle down and kind of focus on home.
Mm-hmm.
And chickens are an amazing opportunity to, one, just control just a tiny bit of your food source, where your
Mm-hmm.
food comes from. So there's a level
Yeah.
of sustainability. You all know the homesteading thing is taken off like crazy. We all have the dreams of moving to acreage and doing that whole life. And it's taking over Instagram and all these things. And so there's this personal experience with chickens growing up, and then seeing how my wife loved them, and how when we got chickens in our neighborhood, which shouldn't have chickens, we got them, our neighbors got them, and then we moved to a new neighborhood, and then my other neighbors got them. And you see this kind of
Wow.
evolve, things are evolving. And so that's taking off. And normally it's a little taboo to have chickens
Mm-hmm.
in the city. So the little header here of backyard, coops for backyards in urban and suburban settings, it's kind of taboo to have, clucking hens in your backyard.
Yeah.
And that's changing, because we honestly have neighbors that walk by, and every single morning on their walk, they will see if the hens and the girls are out, and they talk to them. It's crazy. So long story short, I see how people become obsessed with them. They're really fun to have around. They're great for kids.
Mm.
And egg prices were through the roof. So we hopped on and bought a great company from, two great brothers who are phenomenal guys, and they built a good foundation, and we took the helm, and it's been great.
Yeah. And Chris, from your end, like what stuck out as the business opportunity when you're evaluating deals, evaluating other things? Like what stuck out to you?
Well, I think, what stuck out to me really was the barrier to entry. You can do so much in business,
Yeah.
but if everybody else can do it, or it was really easy, it wouldn't, number one, it wouldn't be fulfilling. And number two, it probably wouldn't be a great business. So
Yeah.
if you've read the book, Blue Oceans,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say Chicken Coop is a blue ocean per se, but I think what we're really trying to reinvent is the category of kind of that Goldilocks play of, you're not going to your local farm store and getting a piece of garbage. You're not spending 10 grand, but you're able to get sustainability that looks great at a fair price and is supported by, folks like ourselves and our team who will treat you as family. And so to me, that the opportunity to do that in kind of an international setting was fantastic.
Yeah. Talk to me about like the trend overall, like in the United States. Like you mentioned that it's showing up, popping up in more and more neighborhoods, and like some of this, like the taboo aspect of being in the city with it is kind of changing. Like how do you see this trend going? Like what are you seeing from day to day?
That's actually a really hard statistic to get.
Yeah.
The poultry category is so large because it includes all your meat birds and different things for, who's
Mm-hmm.
buying chickens and how many chickens humans are consuming. So it's
Yeah.
actually really hard to find that number, but there are statistics and some studies that show substantial growth year over year over year. I don't know the number right offhand.
Yeah.
All we have is our anecdotal evidence of our inbox and our phones that are ringing, and the upward trajectory of the amount of people that are looking for chickens and that are on our website every single day is incredible. I mean, we have
Mm.
search volume that I'm shocked at, of people
Mm.
who are looking for coops. So, and something we've learned too about the sales cycle is people will look for quite a while. So
Mm.
they'll have an interest, and I think it takes that, confidence to, hey, I'm going to raise a living creature in my backyard that I know nothing about. These little
Yeah.
raptors that, do they smell? There's all these barriers to entry. So they do their research. And so we find that people will come back 4, 5, 6 times before they actually purchase. So they're doing
Mm.
their due diligence, they're talking with friends. And so that's just kind of creating this, one, the searchability of the topics
Mhm.
online. And then, yeah, just the overall research that people are doing and having to talk to people. So it's growing for sure.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about the education piece of like what it actually, like, how do I know? Like, how do I know if I qualify, if I'm able to, like, for the novice out there that's like just starting out on that path of thinking of if it makes sense, like, what does it look like? What goes into that decision?
The cool thing about this is that it's a huge community feel.
Mm.
So we're not going to be everything chicken to people, and we don't have to be. There are
Yeah.
so many resources out there, and like we talked to a guy not too long ago. He's just fired up about one area of the chicken business, and so he
Mm.
satisfies that area. And so it's we can collaborate. You can. There's no shortage of research and information.
Mhm.
Even if you go to your social sites and you join these communities, I'd say that's a great place to start because you can ask
Yeah.
questions, and it's not always just thought leaders that are out there pumping all the information. It's
Mhm.
all the chicken owners out there. So it's
Mm.
huge communities. I'd say it's really the jumping in isn't that hard. You just have to put your toe in and you're going to
Yeah.
have all the support you need.
Mm. Give me some of the basics. Like, how much space would I need? Like, how does that work?
Good question. I wouldn't recommend having less than 2 chickens. So
Mhm.
having enough space for 2 chickens, and they don't need much at all.
Mm.
Um, I don't know if a balcony in LA would work. If that, I'm
Maybe,
sure
but
with
my mom's in Florida. I don't know. We could
the
out. I
right
could maybe
setup.
it might put my coop in Florida. I don't know. We got a backyard out
Oh,
there. Like, what do I need?
for sure. A lot of, I mean, I think our second most selling state is in Florida. So a
Mm.
lot of people in Florida are buying coops. But I'm not even joking about your apartment in LA. They
Yeah.
don't need a lot of space, and if they get some fresh air and you give them a place to roam, which you can give them all the supplements and things they need to be
Yeah.
successful. If you have 2 chickens, like you could actually have a really fun experience.
Wow. And I think you also mentioned in our warm up that you got that there's been schools ordering and that there's other like there's even been like kind of some of that B2B function. Like what does that look for? Like why would schools or other organizations get interested in this?
So, hey, I mean, I think they're interested in it for the same thing we started talking about, really the child labor piece. And I don't mean to say schools are using child labor. So let's
I'm
whoa
in.
back at the bus. But I think, and I have this in my own family, it's
Mm.
tough to find opportunities for my kids to learn how to work.
Mm.
Right? There's only so many chores in the house. I'm not a contractor. I can't have them go pound nails or pour concrete
Yeah,
or
yeah.
really learn how to work. And so I think schools, and we'll talk about families in general, are looking for opportunities to educate kids hands-on.
Mm.
How do I take care of an animal? What is that responsibility like? What is
Yeah.
it like doing these chores? And I think it gives both schools and families an opportunity to say, hey, this is a contained, safe environment where I can teach my kids not only how to work, what responsibility looks like,
Mhm.
feeding a
Yeah.
living thing, having that emotional attachment, but also from an entrepreneurial perspective, especially for families, selling eggs to your neighbors,
Yeah.
going and having money change hands for product that really puts an imprint on kids. And I
Yeah.
think, gives them a desire to say, hey, I did this in my backyard.
Mhm.
What am I going to do with my life
Yeah.
when it comes to, that? I think that's really exciting. And I think a fantastic way to not only, get food, be natural, be sustainable, but also, teach life skills in a fun way.
And then you look forward, 20 or so years after, Chris, and then when they're being interviewed and they're like, my dad, and just like we're talking about our dads and our parents, be like, and somebody asked them, what was your first hustle? My dad had these chicken coops and I would go door to door selling.
Exactly.
I love it. That's a great story.
And they might say it on your show in 5 or 10 years here.
Oh, that's amazing. I do actually want to go a little bit further into all kidding aside into the child aspect and just like the concept of entrepreneurship, because there's a lot of people that'll watch this and obviously we make light and it's fun, right? But like they're looking at ways to support their kids in maybe entrepreneurial endeavors, but maybe they weren't entrepreneurs. They don't exactly know how to support. So I think this is interesting. I think it's interesting. What have you found? Like what kind of things have you done to maybe support that interest in kids or otherwise? Like what have you found?
Yeah, and I'll let Danny jump in here too. I mean, I think what we try to do is make it really easy, because as a parent, I've got 4 kids. I'm already overwhelmed. And so anything extra seems like sometimes a mountain. And so what we've tried to do is make it really easy. And we're in the process of developing some content around this too, to make it even easier. But just by saying, hey, your chickens are not going to die. Here's a great home. Here's the accessories you need.
Wow.
Here's kind of everything you need in a checklist to be successful. Then we're working on some content for parents to say, hey, don't be afraid of your neighbors. Your neighbors are going to love your chickens, right?
Yeah.
But they're only going to do it if you get them involved and make them love them. But also I'd say, your neighbors hopefully like your kids. And so you're kind of a bigger family, and it's great to have that interaction and have those kids go up to them and say, hey, would you like some eggs? They're having to make that sales pitch. It's not just guaranteed, right? Might say no thanks, but making it easy to do, and then helping parents and just giving them the ideas of here's how to facilitate some of the process around starting your kid's business. Where do you keep the money? How do you do all these things? I think helps be successful and kind of takes it from, a mountain into something consumable and doable. Danny, anything you want to add?
No, that's good. That's good. I mean, there's a lot of kids knocking on doors asking to shovel snow or mow lawns. There's not a lot asking for, selling eggs. And
I think it's cool. I like it. Let's dream for a minute here, guys. So we're all entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur. You're both entrepreneurs. Like, what's your vision for this? Like, what's the vision for the company, and what do you guys see going forward? Let's bring out that crystal ball. Like, let's dream.
That's good. That's good. You can take this so many directions. It's actually setting those milestones is not that hard in the near future, but as you go out, it can get so far out because we're in that homesteading space, and we have, 30,000 plus eyeballs on your website every month. You can go a lot of different directions. You can provide value. So Chris and I being, we've now run the business for a while. We're learning about our customer base and we're learning, all right, who are our customers? What else are they interested in? Like, what else do they need a advisor in, or how can we enable them? We've talked about how we can get a chicken coop in every backyard, or enable them to actually know where to find it and how to do it. And there's other questions that they're asking and other things they need to help their family grow and help their family develop and teach their kids the skills and life lessons they need. So really, we could take this all sorts of directions. Chickens are kind of just the start, in my opinion.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? Want to chime in on that one?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, there's so many directions. And so I think, we're thinking about things like, kind of some horizontal integration, if you will, could call it vertical too, but in this case, probably more horizontal in the fact that, gardening is a big piece. Greenhouses. So not just homes for chicken, homes for, other things that promote sustainability. We would love to have a chicken coop in every backyard or every other backyard. So how do we get in front of those people and do that is really what we're thinking about. And, there are so many ways. And again, there's so many ways this can go. We're moving into the accessories, again, trying to make it easier for people instead of having to go to 15 places. How do we put kind of best of breed stuff and make it really easy to consume? So honestly, it just kind of blows your mind. And you got to step back and just take it one thing at a time. But it's so exciting and it's so motivating. I have to peel myself away from the keyboard.
Either of you, whoever wants to take this, take one of the things that as I looked at your website and otherwise, and I was doing my research for this, I think it's interesting how easy you make it. Like I want you to have for ownership, to get started, like all of that. Walk me through for those that haven't visited your website yet and are listening to this. And by the way, for everybody listening, we'll put the website in the show notes, all that other good stuff. So you'll be able to just click on the links and head right on over. But that being said, walk me through kind of like the user journey, like of what it looks like to purchase one, to set up, to get going. Like take us from like beginning to end on that so people can understand.
Totally. Chris, I'll cover like the first half of the journey, and if you want to cover the second half, I'll pass it over to you. But first half, it's market research. You're looking for, you want chickens. Let's say you made that decision.
Yeah.
How do you find a coop, and how do you buy a coop online? Like that's the first thing we have to talk through with our customers, or at least when we build our website. How do you portray that it's safe and you can trust us and we have a quality product? I mean, it's a big piece of outdoor furniture, if you will, right? It's these things come in 3 big boxes that you assemble, and we've made that a really easy process. But they still have to trust that it's quality, and that they have to trust that it's going to make it there and that it's the right size. So communicating that and educating your customer base on it's safe to buy these things online. And that really opens up the world, whether they buy our coops or not, that's fine. Like they can buy other people's coops. There's coops for everybody out there. Wood ones, plastic ones, huge ones, mansions, small one, itty bitty, cheap, whatever. There's a coop for everybody, and that's great. But they have to know how to search for it and what they want. And it used to be we'd have to go to your Tractor Supply or your local feed store or something. Where do you find a coop that you can buy? The fact that it's available online now opens up your options, just like shopping. The shopping experience for every other product. It's great to go online and know this is the size of t-shirt I need, and there's a million of them I can choose from. So coops, I guess the first step would be just how do you build the trust that, hey, you can buy a coop from us and you're going to have a great experience and you're going to love it. And then it's how to set it up, how to get things going, what happens, what's the post-purchase experience look like with, all right, I've got these big boxes, what do I do with them? So really it's just enabling them with good content, good instruction, and then raising your chicks. And that's where things get really fun.
Yeah.
So let me jump in there too and just say, I think, Danny nailed the front half of that. The other piece in making it easy is how do I know what I need? And so we're actually going to launch a new website version here. I'll tease it in the next month, I hope, that when you're buying a coop, right below that on the right-hand side, you'll see some options that are selectable for your coop, meaning there's climate options. So if you live in a cold climate, you can select your climate options. So just like, in a car, you would want heated seats, right? Yeah. In your chicken coop, you might want a heated chicken coop, or you need a roof to keep the snow out, or panels around the outside of your chicken coop to keep the snow out. You need a water and a feeder. So we made that stuff really easy to basically, just like a car, you're picking the right size tires, you're picking the right size water, or the right size climate options for your coop, and making it really easy to just add what you need, nothing you don't, and check out and have it come to your door.
Yeah. Do you find that most people that order these are able to put them together themselves, or do they have to hire outside help? Is there a variation? Like how long does this take? Like typically, and I know there's different models and things, so maybe if you could just speak to it in general.
Yeah. I would guess 95% of our customers, 99 put it together themselves. Family project or just by themselves. And usually it takes about 2 to 3 hours. Some people take more because they paint it and do different things, but it's pretty quick.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's simple. It's simple. Like it sounds to me like a big part of the buying decision is in the beginning to like research what you want, the type, everything else, make sure it's going to fit your space. But then after you make the decision, you order it. Delivery time, how long does it normally take to arrive? Things like that.
Man, it sounds like you're trying to buy a coop right now, Adam.
Man, I'm like, I got a little balcony here. I gotta start at stage 1, the research now. I'm in the beginning. Come on, man.
No, it's so fun because the initial question of, how do you bring somebody through the process of buying? The questions you're asking are exactly the questions people go through in their mind. Right? What's it going to cost me? One that we've missed is it going to look good? Because, man, there are a lot of ugly coops out there. And partly it's, when you think about a coop, you think about, this is some barnyard structure. And most of the, the best-selling coops out there, these big, ugly barnyard structures. And it's like, I live in a beautiful home in suburbia land. Like, I don't want a big barn back there. I want something that's pretty classy, that's going to look good with my home.
Yeah.
Something I can paint, something customizable. So that's where a lot of people start is it going to look good? And so they search for the picture that looks the best.
Yeah.
And then they go from there. But to answer your question, it's usually like, does it look good? How much does it cost? How many chickens do I want? How long does it take for it to get to me? Is this thing going to take 2 months? So we ship it within 24 hours and it arrives usually within 3 to 5 days on average.
Oh, wow. So it's fast. So if somebody's watching this, they want a coop, man, they have one by the weekend. It's Tuesday when we're recording this. Come on.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we work
to Florida by Friday, Adam.
Oh man, come on. My mom I don't think my mom's watching this, but who knows? She's gonna get a text like, Adam, we're getting chickens.
So good.
I'm like, it's sustainability, Mom. It's okay.
Let's go, Mom. We're here for you.
Oh man. Well, Danny, Chris, I mean, this has been a lot of fun. I knew it would be. Exciting topic. I'm thrilled to continue to watch this and the whole homestead movement, all the things that you're mentioning. And I just see so many themes here that regardless of business are like prevalent, like who's our customer, understanding them more, how can we serve them better, like just so many truisms. And then adding that component and that layer of also financial and entrepreneurial education and responsibility for kids. I mean, the same way you do with a dog, right? Feeding a dog and just all these like flexibilities, and then to see the community building around this. I just think it's an amazing story. That being said, if somebody's watching or listening to this and they want to follow up, they want to start their research, they want to start their coop expedition, I'm going to call it. How do they connect with you guys? How do they connect with your team?
Great question. Best place is chickencoopcompany.com. Pretty easy to remember.
Yeah.
Or you can just reach out to us directly. My wife answers the emails. I answer the phone. So you can reach us at family@chickencoopcompany.com.
Yeah.
That's probably the best place to reach us. Yep.
Perfect. And for everybody listening and watching this, again, we're going to put those links in the show notes so you can just click on them and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters or engaging in an episode, we're all about bringing on business owners, entrepreneurs, executives, having them share their mission, their vision, their businesses, why they do what they do. So hopefully this can inspire and help you along the way on your journey as well. If that sounds interesting or good to you, hit that subscribe button or that follow button wherever you're watching or listening to this to, because this is a daily show. That means each and every day we're putting out new content, bringing you new entrepreneurs, bringing you new stories, and we don't want you to miss a thing. So again, hit that subscribe button. And Chris, Danny, man, so much fun, guys. I can't wait to continue to watch this business thrive. So again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks,
Thank
Adam.
you. That was awesome.